We've talked about it briefly before, but we haven't in this chat, so there'll be people listening to this that are sort of maybe fans of yours. They've seen you on the telly, but your upbringing, there was a defining moment, a sort of sliding doors moment in your life, wasn't there, where it could have gone one of two ways for you, and it thankfully, I should say, went this way, but sadly it could have gone another way. Just explain to everyone listening exactly what happened to you.
Once upon a time in my life, I was in a wrong environment, I would like to say, led astray by the wrong friends, wrong people around me. I used to go out a lot, loads of parties, around bad people. And I found myself in a situation where I went to a club and we came outside the club. We were planning on to go to another party. It was like a house party, it's not a club, but a guy just storms out and starts asking for phones. So we were puzzled, we didn't know what was going on. And he had a blade in his hand, we didn't notice it straight away until he literally started stabbing people. And started asking each and every person for their phones. And he came to me after he stabbed about 2 others.
How old were you at this stage?
I was 15. So he came to me and asked me for my phone. I didn't have a phone, but because like pride and ego, I said no. He stabbed me straight in my chest, and I just felt the blood. It felt like a thump and sharp, like type of pain, and I just felt the blood just start pouring. And after like a minute or two, it continued like 3 minutes, and that's when I knew this is serious, you know. And when he went back in, he just left. He just stormed back into the party. Everybody's asking, "Are you alright?" And then lifted up my top. There's blood all over my boxes and stuff. And everybody started panicking, phoning an ambulance. Then the guy that actually stabbed me, he found his phone. He actually lost his phone inside the house party, but he found it, and he came out and started apologizing to me. But you know, the deed was done by then. Mm-hmm. Lost consciousness. After that, I got taken to the ambulance. Had to do an emergency surgery. Literally sawed open my sternum, you know, to operate to make sure they fixed like internal bleeding. There was a lot of blood around my lungs. My breaths were short because the blood was compressing my lung. So, you know, if something needed to be done straight away, and I'm happy to be here. You know, survived it.
So from that moment, you just thought, right, I'm not going to hang around with these people anymore. And was boxing ever in your mind?
Not even,
so how did boxing happen?
I wasn't even interested in boxing at that time. I started boxing when I was 19, and that was a few years. This was after the incident. I started to change. I started to think about the future a bit more, and I started to become a bit more calculated. I then understood that, you know, even though I wasn't looking for trouble on that night, you can still find yourself in trouble depending on where you go and your environment and who you're around. So I always like tell youth as well, you have to be really careful about, you know, your surroundings, because you can find yourself in a situation where you wouldn't believe you would, you know, and prior to that. So yeah, a lot of things changed after that. I went to the boxing gym, and what I learned was it kept me occupied. It gave me purpose. I didn't find myself hanging around on the block no more with the wrong people. I just had new goals now. You know,
can I ask, any of those, sorry Jay, any of those people that you hang around with when you were 15, 16, now they've seen you've gone on to, you know, make a name for yourself.
Yeah.
Have any of them ever tried to contact you again since?
Absolutely. A lot of them actually changed. A lot of people back then completely changed, did it like a 360, and everybody's on a completely different path. Okay. Some didn't make it, some are in jail for life, some are dead. You know, a lot of things happen to a lot of people. And unfortunately, the people that make it out of those environments are less than 1%. Less than 1%. Very rare that people make it to
It's a nut story, isn't it? And the fact that you're here now and we're talking about you becoming champion of the world one day, hopefully sooner rather than later, it's credit to you.
It's almost like a miracle. Yeah. You know, when I look back in hindsight, and just, it's almost like I can't even believe it. You know, I really need to sit down and meditate on it, just think and be. That's why I'm always in a bubbly mood. If you notice me, I'm always smiling, always laughing, even at the shows.
I thought that was just me and Jay.
Yeah, you
just
of course
since you've been in here.
But do you feel you've got a bit of a responsibility to perhaps educate other young kids growing up that might have been in a similar situation to you, that 15-year-olds listening to this? Do you go into schools? Do you go into communities to tell your story?
Absolutely, because I don't know why, but I always feel like if somebody if somebody came and gave me that advice, especially if they came from the similar type of background and made a change in that manner and became successful, I would listen. I would have changed, and I could have been in a completely different route. I maybe would have taken up football or tennis. You never know, like another sport, and I would probably been like very successful at that too. But I just feel like, you know, a lot of people just don't care, and I'm that guy that cares. And I didn't have to use myself as a reference. I didn't have to tell my story, but I feel like it's good. You know, I feel like we're taken away from the world if we don't tell the story, because you never know who could help. You know, there's a lot of kids. You know, some people might not care. They'll be like, whatever, it's fine. Like, you know, it is what it is. But there's a lot of people that a lot of things going on right now that a lot of people don't pay attention to. A lot of people dying. A lot of people dying from knife crime. Like, you turn on the news, there's so much going on. But there's things that don't even make it to the news that I hear in and around the areas, and I cannot believe what is going on. It's a nightmare, honestly.
Listen, we want to keep you for a couple more minutes, if that's okay, right? Because we always end the show on the end of show quiz. But just ever so quickly, people want to find you on social media to find out more about your experience, and maybe it can help one person listening. I know you're on Instagram. Just remind everyone what your Instagram name is on that.
So my Instagram name is R_RIAKPORHE. Riakporhe, basically.
Okay, Riakporhe. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll tweet out a picture or Instagram picture of the three of us as well after, so if people want to follow you that way, they can.